No.
You would not.
We're gonna make a few arguments that some of these guys got paid too much money.
So I okay, so I got an elephant in the room, right? If we're talking genetics, I don't know if I want my I don't know if I want my daughter dating a certified legal. We're PC here, right? We keep it we keep it PG.
Say
Uh,
whatever you want.
a little person. So in saying that,
Ah,
Kyler Murray, if he shows up to my house, I might be I don't know if I'll put him in a restraining order, but I might. I'm thinking I'm at least keeping my Glock on me. You know, I might be keeping it clean. You know, that's just me though. But I'm open to different interpretations, fellas.
mhm.
Hmm. Yep.
I think it's solid. You're really gonna weed out. You're gonna weed out the weirdos. You're gonna be able to get firsthand, visual of what's happening on this date. No funny business. No bad jokes. And
Trevor, I cannot be more on the same page as you. If there's one thing that I'm trying to figure out when I'm dressed up as somebody else while my daughter is dating somebody's, I don't want her associated with any weird people.
no,
So
God no. I mean, if we're at the movie theater and he's getting like fucking raisins or something, like we're calling it off immediately.
yeah, I'll be dressed as an elderly Asian woman, and yeah, I'm calling it. Yeah.
Don't even, yeah, no shot, bro. Beating him with a hammer immediately. Of course.
A nice let them. You got to let them know who the boss is, and it's not so much like an outright no, but it's like, hey, thin ice, pal. You know.
It's letting him know you're ready to get serious if it comes down to it. It's very technical difficulties.
Did I have the wrong audio device on here?
Is this amateur hour? I don't know if I'd let my daughter date you.
Check 1, 2.
Gary, what's the YouTube channel called? What's
Just Mapes. Let me know if that's better,
Just
Stephanie.
Mapes?
Holy shit. Kentucky's beating Georgia right
No shot, bro.
It's 9-6, end of the third.
Hell yes. Okay, I think that should fix it. Well, getting started here, we make rookie mistakes sometimes, so sorry to anyone who had to endure that. But the audio should be fixed now. You guys give me some audio from you guys real quick.
Check.
Checking out at the grocery store. They're stopping me. They won't let me take this food for free.
Okay. Yeah, it's better now. Okay, yeah. To recap what we were just saying, sometimes as a dad, especially if you're vetting for an NFL quarterback trying to date your daughter, you want to be there on the date in the background using stealth just to see if any funny business is going on. Like I said, I've done it multiple times. I've gone as many different disguises. I don't want my daughter to date an NFL quarterback that is a loser. So based on what he orders, I'm going to be getting the table maybe 3 tables down. And if he orders Mike and Ike's at the movie theater, there's going to be an issue. But we'll move on. I'm not going to totally repeat myself here. So yeah. Next category, we have a category of its own for Gardner Minshew, and we'll get to that. But as a father, I don't know if in good faith I could let my daughter go out with this man, just based on his social image right now. I mean, Brock, you were the one who felt strongly about this one. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I think this takes one good look at that guy. I mean, just even the photo that we have right here. Yeah, if we can zoom in real quick.
Yeah.
There's just nothing.
Right here.
There's nothing to that guy. Whenever it comes to your dog, nothing good comes to it. Nothing.
It's giving me like value brand Jared Leto, and Jared Leto already is trash. So I mean, Gardner Minshew's the type of guy we're talking. He's going 60 and a 70 in the fast lane.
Yeah, and that's scary, because why does he not have anywhere to be? This guy, for some reason, dances to his own tune, and it's something scary, especially for a parent. I mean, we're talking about a guy who gives me meditation vibes, but also could be a biker at the same time. I mean, that's not a good quality in my opinion. We'll get more into it. We're not gonna put him there just now. We'll go more into it. So the very last category here, where we have Kyler Murray, is going to be restraining order.
Just because there's a Gardner Minshew category doesn't necessarily mean Gardner Minshew's going in there.
That's very true. There are other men who will probably end up in this category, and we'll explain why. But it's just a bad vibes category.
Yep.
No, absolutely.
So I know we brought up Kyler Murray first. Do we want to? Why don't we dive into him? He might not stay here. I just put him up here because we were talking about him earlier.
Yep. So I guess. Go ahead, Trevor.
Earlier Brock brought it up. It's a genetics thing, right? If we're already bagging an NFL player, like, I need my daughter to make a better choice than this. Kyler Murray, it looks like a toddler running on the field. I've never seen a man run like that. I've never seen someone who is somehow athletic but not athletic at the same time. And Kyler genuinely gives me vibes of someone who walks into a room and they already assume they're the best thing, since sliced bread. He just gives me those vibes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and I know we did speak kind of highly of his character on our previous stream. I mean, when me and you first met Kyler, it was minutes before kickoff, and he was like you said, he was doing keg stands with fans. I mean, he was about 7 beers deep,
It
and
was pretty impressive. I mean, we're talking coin flip on the field, Kyler flipping a fucking keg. Like this guy was ready to go. Played one of his best games I've ever seen.
yeah, I mean the guy goes on apparently he repeatedly does this. He went onto the field about 9 beers deep, and the guy killed it. I mean, that's the day they beat the Cowboys, for God's sake. I mean, this is a guy who really um, seems nice, but it's not always the guy that does keg stands and makes you think he's cool that you want dating your daughter. You know what I mean?
Whenever you're thinking about dating a daughter, you obviously best idea going forward is that this is the guy that's going to eventually lead your daughter's family, right? He's going to be the head of the household, right? If his own team doesn't respect him, which how could they? He's a legal little person. How can you just look at him in the eye as a man and say like I'm okay with you being my son-in-law? There's just no way around it. So with me, I mean, me personally, I'm good with putting him, in the blue, cleaning my pew pew.
Yeah, I think that's a fair category.
And not to harp on him too much, I think this is something we're not taking into consideration. You got to think of grandkids too, right? So, me personally, if I'm coming to a Thanksgiving dinner, last thing I want to see is Kyler and the 4 Keebler elves walk into the house and just be eating it up. I'm like, what do y'all? Here's a piece of bread that's gonna nourish your 3'5" body. Like, what are we doing here?
Generational curse that we're putting on our entire ancestry. Whenever we bring Kyler Murray into the blood, I'm with
downhill from there. Yeah,
Right.
cleaning the pew pew is, I think, a respectable spot for him.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean,
And it's not a hard no.
Right. Yeah, I think with Kyler, I mean, the part I'm concerned about, like you said, this is essentially, the man who marries your daughter is essentially the man to strip away the name from your daughter. And
Oh yeah.
I don't want my daughter, Demetrius Murray would be her new name. I don't want her running around like obviously, with 3'4" grown children and grandkids for me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's fair. I think Kyler's in a good spot there. It's a good spot for him. Like I said, it's not a hard no. We're not saying that it's gonna be. He could win us over. Who knows? Like I said, we've hung out with Kyler in the past. Charming guy, life of the party type. But you're 27, Kyler. We're thinking about the future.
Right.
So I think we're all on a pretty good understanding, and I think we all agree where Kyler needs to be. There's one guy staring me down personally that it's just on a skate. I can't look away from him. It's first on the list. A-Rod himself, Aaron Rodgers. Discount double check. Whenever I'm thinking of who I want to date my daughter, I want a leader. I want a free thinker. I want somebody who doesn't really take shit from anybody, but also has respect. And he's a proven winner.
I mean, we're talking future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers here. I mean, what more do you need? Like the guy, on one hand, you're opening up Christmas presents. He's throwing absolute dimes with the crushed up wrapping paper. He's just he's an elite. He's a stud. You're hanging out at Christmas. You open the gifts, and next thing you know, you're doing ashwagandha in the backyard, flipping patties. I mean, that just sounds like a great time to me.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know he's pushing 40 now, so that's one thing for me to take into account is this guy's going to be pretty old by the time these kids mature. This guy's going to be a little older, so that is a slight downside for me. What do you guys think about that?
It's a downside, 100%. I mean, you know, with age, you know, we could be talking some birthing problems. You know, grandkids might come out a little loopy in the head, but you know, I think Aaron might be a specimen, might be able to push through it. He's going to lead those kids. He's going to teach them. Um, you know, fun thing about Aaron, right? He was the backup to Brett Favre for the longest time. He saw leadership, and he encapsulated that within his own game. And I think he could really transition that into a family.
I'll say it. I'll say it. He's not vaxxed. It's not being passed down the bloodline. Because my daughter's not vaxxed either. I'll tell you that.
That's very true. That's very true, Brock. I mean, we're looking at pure blood children here. You know, we're not looking at mudbloods. So that's a good point to make. And one thing with Aaron too is his public support for psychedelics, and if he could pass that down to his grandchildren, maybe pass me some during Thanksgiving, like that's a great move.
He just seems like a cool guy. Like at the end of the day, like you're sitting around the table with the family. He seems like the guy who's cracking jokes. He has great stories to tell. He's just bringing an all around like great vibe to the room, and that you know a lot of what you know people don't think, especially you know of course we all have kids. You know the one thing you don't think about is who their spouse is. Are they going to be cool? Are you going to be able to hang out with them? Am I going to be sitting in awkward silence on the couch with them and then making small talk, talking about the weather? No, Aaron's telling us war stories of you know being in the game. I mean, he's been in the league what 15 years now.
Yeah, and I mean, look at where the guy's been. He's been to countless playoffs. Several teams led them to victory. January 6th. I mean, just the list goes on here, and the guy he just won't stop. I mean, the Jets just paid him. He got unfortunately injured first game last year, but I really see an upside for this season, and I think our daughters could actually be a you know addition to that.
Yeah, that injury is concerning. I mean, you know, last year seeing Aaron get injured in the way he did, I mean, second worst thing to happen in New York in September. You know, it was just a true travesty, and I hope it doesn't hold him back. And you know, I think this is a upstanding guy. I think he might be. You know, what's our top tier again? What's our S tier?
Hey, son.
I wouldn't go hey son. This might be where we
Maybe
differ.
cautiously.
Yeah, because I still feel like you got to watch Aaron. Aaron, I feel like could be a little bit manipulative with his confidence and his swagger. You know.
Yeah.
Tell me your grandchildren wouldn't just be the coolest hangs ever, though.
They would be
yeah.
hilarious.
Like,
yeah, I mean, we're talking. Yeah, I think that's a fair place to place Aaron here. You guys comfortable with that?
I think it's a good spot.
Okay. To be totally honest, I don't know who this is. Trev, do you know this first guy?
I'm trying to look in. I can't. It's hard to see. Is that Trubisky?
No, it's your bad, Trubisky.
No, who is this? God, that's a crazy photo of this guy. maybe Chad can help us out. We haven't hung out with him, so I mean, it's hard to remember these names.
Yeah, I know. This is one of the few guys on this list we haven't interviewed. Maybe we skip over him for now, and keep going.
We can go to AR. Go to Anthony Richardson to his right.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing I can tell you about Anthony Richardson, it's amazing athlete, amazing quarterback. Brittle bones, man. Brittle bones.
Oh my God.
True.
Saying the least.
Yeah, I mean, just man can't really stay on the field. And he knows it. You know, I know it's HIPAA, but I have connections to his psychiatrist.
Okay.
And it is deeply in his mind. He's afraid to get hit. The man's 6'5", 240 pounds, runs a 4.40. Does not want to get hit.
So we're talking about I mean, fortunate for us, unfortunate for Anthony here, a giant HIPAA violation.
Yes. Yeah. Huge. She should
not on, by the way, that's not on you.
That's not on me. It's not on me. Can't put that on me.
Yeah. I mean, you're a civilian. That's a psychiatrist. Yeah. Sorry, Anthony.
I mean, Shame on her, but I'm going to broadcast it to everybody. Yeah, so I think Anthony Richardson, with things that genetics are there. Just strong, good leader, great look. I think that I would be okay. I would be okay with him dating my daughter, but I want to get to know him a little bit more outside of my inside information. I'd want her. I'd want him for dinner first, personally. But
That's
I'm open
fair.
to suggestions.
No, I definitely will take I'll definitely ride shotgun on that decision from you. And what do you guys think? Do you think we should move dinner with parents down and put monitor date above?
No, I feel like dinner with parents, you already kind of trust the guy. Now you're just kind of feel out the family.
Mhm.
Okay.
Monitor date, you don't trust the guy. You're trying to look in on this. I think dinner with parents is totally fair for Anthony Richardson. First of all, I mean, give credit where credit's due. That guy has an absolute cannon for an arm. I mean, we're
Dude.
sending missiles 75 yards down the field on the run, back foot like this. If we're talking about a specimen of an athlete, he is a forerunner for this. The injuries are scary.
And he's
I
a
mean,
playmaker. I mean,
and
Oh,
especially the news Brock's given us with his therapist saying that those injuries are really getting to his head. I mean, where's his focus at, right? Like, if we're talking about dating daughters, your on-field performance, of course, we're gonna root for you, or we're not gonna root for you. But I need the off-field performance. Are you gonna be in the right mindset? Are you gonna be able to put football past what my daughter,
absolutely.
past my daughter?
Yeah,
handling
absolutely.
adversity is huge for me, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Quarterback, and I want that in my prospective son-in-law. So
Absolutely. And I mean, just look at last season. He threw 47 picks and made the play on 45 of them after that. So just going on to the next one here, unless you guys had any other comments.
I'm good.
Okay. By the way, this is Aaron O'Connell. Dick Tips.
Oh, Aiden O'Connell. Yeah,
Aiden
okay.
O'Connell. Yeah, this is Aiden
That's who
O'Connell.
this is. Aiden O'Connell. God.
Our
Okay.
senior analyst Dick Tips texted me about that one. So we can do him or just keep moving on. I don't know much about Aiden, to be honest. But if you guys have an opinion, we can go ahead and put him up.
I think Aiden, I do have an opinion on this. I think this is another category. We're gonna have to really put into play here. Aiden O'Connell, starting quarterback for the Raiders. When we're thinking of these players, we're thinking of our daughter living with these players in that area. And listen, I've been reading a few articles. Oakland isn't the best place to be. So, unless Aiden's putting her up in a penthouse right there in South Central or in West LA, like I don't know if I want her away from home, staying with Aiden in Oakland. I mean, that's just my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's completely fair. That's
Also, I mean, another thing with this guy, I can respect a mustache, but if the mustache don't work for you and you still rep it, that's a huge red flag.
yeah. I feel like the mustache it's making a comeback, but it's really exposing the guys who really can't grow one. To be honest, Trev. I mean, and we're looking at one here, and this guy's really trying hard. It's almost like he needs uppies. You know what I mean? Like he needs his dad to put him on the to lift him up to get into the boat or something, because that mustache just isn't carrying the weight that that arm does.
You know,
It's a false sense of confidence that he's pushing with that mustache.
Yeah.
it's false confidence for sure. I went to his house. This is probably 2 years ago before he was drafted. Saw some childhood photos. He was a fat child.
Really?
He was a fat child. Yeah.
How long
Now,
is he? That just begs the question: was he a fat quarterback growing up?
And is he going to allow the kids to get fat?
That's a great point, Trev.
I mean,
do that information what you will, but he was a fat child.
I think Aiden. First of all, Aiden is a very weak name as well. And O'Connell, I mean, I don't know if I want to have an O'Connell in my family. This might be a monitored date. He could impress us. There may be a sneaky position in this
Mhm.
whole thing where we come out, we judged Aiden just on looks and character, and then we get to know him. We're like, oh shit, Aiden might be that guy. So I think I want to be there if that date's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would say maybe monitored. What do y'all think?
I'm good with it.
Yeah. So one step above Kyler, but still don't trust the guy. I mean, you know, I can only trust him as far as he can throw it.
Shane Farr.
Yeah.
Ain't that the damn truth? Now Baker Mayfield. This one's interesting. This is a story upon a story with Baker. I mean, we're talking the frat guy at Oklahoma. I mean, he was the king of the campus when he was at Oklahoma University. Came in the NFL. Unfortunately, went to the Cleveland Browns. I mean, you don't wish that upon your worst enemy, of course, especially for a young quarterback. But I mean, he's transcended the game going into Tampa. I mean, he's hit a new level of swagger, and I think the only thing holding me back from Baker on that is, are we gonna see you back to your Oklahoma days of just being an absolute degenerate, or is he gonna be able to hold himself to that new standard of being a legit NFL quarterback? I've had the privilege of having a few conversations with Baker, and I mean, from the time in Oklahoma when we first interviewed him to now, I think his third year in Tampa. I mean, he's a changed man, and it's quite impressive. I think it's something that we need to look into.
It is majorly impressive, Trev. I mean, he's down to drinking only 5 nights a week. He's cut his other usage that I won't talk about here way down. I mean, the guy really is what you talk about a church man here. So the 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 reform that we're seeing with this man is just insane. So what do we think? What are you saying, Brock?
No, I agree. I agree with everything that's being said. He's got that first overall pick pedigree. Texas boy, which we all love. Moxie out the ass, right? I agree. I think we'd be doing a disservice to Anthony Richardson if you put him above him, personally. But I'm all ears.
Yeah, that's no 100%. I think if we're talking Baker, right? There's a reason he got to the point he was at. Of course, you go to college and you become your own man at that point, but there's a certain allowance that kids are given to be able to reach that confidence. So I may want to be able to see the parents, maybe interact with the parents. Is the dad cool? Is the mom cool? Um, were they strict discipliners? Are they just free and nilly with him? It might be one of those things where you need to really dig deep into what his side of the family is offering.
Yeah, 100%. I'm thinking personally. I'm thinking have her home by 10. Because if Baker can be trusted with himself, among himself, I think he can probably be trusted with my daughter until 10 p.m. Of course, just like anything, there's going to be a tracking device installed on him. When I hug him, I'm going to put that on him. But
yeah,
I think that's a fair rating for Baker.
Probably tail the car around, when they first leave for the date, tail the car, maybe sit in, do a watch out, see where they're at, kind of keep eyes on them, but go home and trust that he's going to bring her home by 10.
Yeah, and I'll probably only tail him for a few blocks with Baker especially. So who do we have coming up next?
I'm pretty sure this is Will Levis.
No, that's not Will Levis.
That's not
Will Levis. Is that Bo Nix?
That's Bo Nix.
Are we certain it's Bo Nix?
We're not certain. We can go. We can let Dick Tips, our analyst, let us know here.
I'm pretty sure that's Bo Nix. Let's look him up real quick. That also, Dick Tips could chime in here. That is 100% Bo Nix.
We can talk about Brock. We can talk about Brock Purdy while we're doing some intel.
Okay.
Confirm it.
So
So
here, me and Trev have a strong opinion on Brock Purdy. Brock, I don't know if you were there for if you listened to our first ramblings about him, but so we had a 4-hour interview booked with this guy, Brock Purdy, and he comes in, chip on his shoulder, and we're super excited, shake his hand. First thing he says to us is "fuck you." So
yeah, he'll do that. He'll do that.
yeah,
No, it was a straight up power. It was perplexing to say the least. I mean, he seemed excited when we first scheduled this interview. I don't know if it was a game that had happened or something at home, but he seemed to really be carrying an energy about him that he took to at this point two total strangers, and I just think that's unfair to us. Of course, we are the number one sports podcast / and we are the best analysts in the game right now. We know ball, and I mean Brock just had no respect for it. It was, I mean, we're talking about date and daughter. If you can't respect total strangers, how am I gonna expect you to respect your girlfriend's parents?
absolutely.
We're familiar that he does have a severe case of Tourette's, right?
That
I was not aware of that.
I
This
was
is
not either.
this is breaking news.
No. He's been dealing with his entire life.
Oh,
Yeah, no. So I mean,
well, that could
look,
explain it.
yeah, no. I've had very similar experiences with him. That doesn't surprise me at all. Brock will do that. He's got a mouth on him. He's a sailor, man. And chip on the shoulder's right. Now, here's what I'll say. I think that I think what he did isn't okay by any means. Any type of conditioning aside, I think that it's just something important to note that he's dealing with. But I also would be incredibly upset if that happened to me too. So I just wanted to give that information out. I think that being the Mr. Irrelevant, the last draft pick, he has that chip on his shoulder, like you mentioned. And I think that it might have a little bit of tenacity that I'd like in my gene pool going forward, But I also don't like the Tourette's in my gene pool.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, am I gonna have some spastic sailor mouths in my gene pool? So it's a tough pick. I'm a guy who lets this kind of thing roll off my shoulder. He could have been having a bad day. Young guy, big star. But when the first thing you say to me is "fuck you," I understand the Tourette's condition, but like get that shit under control. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? We're talking about a man coming in last pick of the draft, like you said, Brock, Mr. Irrelevant. Where we come from, Ohio State or Iowa State University. He spent a number of years in Iowa, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. The people of Iowa, I just don't trust. I just can't trust them. So now we're talking. What was the culture that raised you? The Tourette's thing is unfortunate. I wish we had known that going into that interview. That definitely would have cleared probably the air a little bit better, and we could have continued in a better light. But I mean, Brock Purdy's just a guy that I don't think I can understand on paper. I'm gonna need to see what my daughter's seeing. This may be a monitor date. Hell, I may even need to ego check him and be sitting there with the Glock in my hand when he walks in.
That's very fair. I think maybe monitor date for Brock as well.
Yep.
And it's just because of my prior experience. Like if this guy is gonna mouth off to my daughter, that's just gonna be unacceptable. And he may have had a bad day, but you got to remember too that your worst day when you mouth off to someone could absolutely be why is there a smaller screen in our top right? Sorry.
It was doubled up.
It's okay. Oh, that's supposed to be Brock. All right.
We'll keep the technical difficulties up.
Technical difficulties. What I was going to say, your worst day when you mouth off to someone is their only day with them sometimes. So, that's going to be the impression.
So
and I'm not as
He
especially
made decisions wrong with the wrong podcast though. So I get it. You know.
yeah.
It's a tough one. I mean, that's something we don't consider a lot. We've met a lot of these guys, and for us, this is just another day us doing our job. But I mean, when we're looking at guys like this, they're on the biggest stages of their life, and
Yeah.
then they got to walk on to an even bigger stage with this podcast. So give credit where credit's due. It respect for him for coming on, revealing the truths, but you just gotta you got to conduct yourself better. At the end of the day, Purdy's a guy I can't trust.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll move on
Here,
from him.
can we get a zoom in back on this tiers a little bit?
Yeah, sorry.
Just a slight zoom. Okay, we're looking good here.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think we established that the first guy right here is Bo Nix. I mean, I have nothing good to say about this man. Just one of the worst human beings I've probably ever met in my life. I met him during his college run. He was really making a name for himself, and he really liked to let you know that he was the king of that campus. I mean, Johnny Manziel, say what you will about him, at least he was fun to be around. Bo Nix, total finance guy, finance bro type energy. The worst haircut I've ever seen in my life that he still reps to this day, and I'll let y'all take the reins on it, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, Trev, for me, I met him one time as well. I think it might have been at the same Trump rally we were at with him. But he came up to me and he recognized me from the stream and everything, and he introduced himself. But once he saw that I was wearing American Eagle jeans, he kind of changed his tone for some reason. So yeah, it's the weirdest thing. So yeah, so he looked down and said, "Are you wearing AE?" And I said, "Yeah, same jeans I've worn my whole life." And he said, "Oh, okay, bitch," and then he walked off. And
Wow! Wow!
yeah,
Whoa.
A man who doesn't respect being comfortable and fashionable is a crazy take.
yeah. I mean, we're talking. I'm wearing stretch skinnies, so it's like, I mean, that's pretty much America's go-to as far as jeans. So I think he might have a little bit of an airhead on himself here with the money or something. I have no idea. For me, I'd probably put him in the same category as Gardner Minshew. But what about you, Brock?
Yeah, no, that's tough. I'll say this: I never met Bo, don't know Bo. What I can say is that this is a man that's stayed at college for almost 9 years and played quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about just let it go, man. Like get a grip. Grow up. That's just somebody that's not comfortable in their own skin. And yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. Now I'll say this about Gardner Minshew. The only thing that makes me think that maybe we have him. I'm talking about maybe we might have him a bit too high. Is that Gardner Minshew has a little bit of that mysterious aura in him, where I feel like I never met Bo Nix, but I feel like I know him just looking in his eyes.
Yeah, you can read a lot from his eyes. I mean, it's something. If we're talking about dating our daughter, dating to marry, I don't need an instigator. I don't want to be out at at our local Denny's with Gardner, just trying to enjoy a good breakfast, one of the best breakfasts in America. I don't want to be there with Bo and maybe the waitress misses something on his order, and now he's gonna do a whole fuss about it. He's gonna cause a scene. I'm uncomfortable. She's uncomfortable. Everyone in the restaurant's uncomfortable. Bo Nix,
Right.
he's just the type of guy who is willing to instigate, and at that point you're putting my daughter's safety in jeopardy.
Right.
Are
And
you?
not to mention, if something goes awry with your daughter, not to mention his Waffle House order, what's going to happen, I mean, the guy we've seen time and time again. He runs out of the locker room and he's screaming at someone or looking at someone weird because they gave him the wrong water. I mean, there's just endless reason. This guy he's a hothead, man, and you just can't trust him.
Yeah, dude, I remember I was at the hookah lounge with Jerry Jeudy when he was still at Denver, and there was word of Bo Nix, leaving or coming to the team. And I mean, not to dive too far into a heartfelt conversation, but Jerry had said, he's like, I'm enjoying Denver. I love it here, but if Bo's coming into this program, I'm out. And I mean, you're losing arguably one of the better young wide receiver ones in the league. That's a lot. That says a lot about Denver and the organization where they're going. I won't get too far into the GM type lifestyle, but Bo Nix just isn't that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. I'm completely okay with putting him bottom of this list.
Okay, so we'll move on here. We got to make some serious progress, so we'll keep moving. We'll move a little quicker here. We got Bryce Young.
Can absolutely date my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I did get to meet Bryce Young one time, and it was actually impromptu dinner. He was eating at a restaurant, and I just sat across from him. He didn't know me, surprisingly, but I just sat down at his table and started talking to him, and he was looking at his phone for most of the time, but it was honestly one of the better conversations I've had with some of these this current class of NFL quarterbacks. And the guy was super nice. He did say hi to me and everything. Like I said, he was on his phone for a lot of the big portion of the interview, but I didn't leave with any sour taste in my mouth with Bryce.
No, this is a man that knows how to take care of a girl. I'll tell you that. Everybody knows this. What's the first question I always ask about quarterbacks that are coming to the NFL? You guys know this. I ask them, how would you propose to your longtime girlfriend? And his answer, it is a 3 week long set of complicated and intricate riddles that get harder and harder and harder. And we're talking about across the world. They don't even talk to each other.
Wow.
So it's like an Amazing Race style.
An amazing race style for a proposal.
And that says a lot about his
So
creativity. We see Bryce's creativity on the field, of course.
Sorry.
I mean,
Yo, go ahead.
we got we'll take the reins here. We got Patty Holmes. He's a big talk of the NFL, but I don't think a lot of people give credit to Bryce Young for his creativity. And I mean, especially with that question you're presenting to him, how would he propose to the wife? We're talking an intricate, amazing race style scavenger hunt. I mean, what more could you want from a guy? That's someone who is adventurous, likes to live life in the fast lane. They're fun, they're outgoing. This is a guy you could crack open a case of Busch Light with, throw some steaks on the grill, and next thing you know, I mean, he's married to your daughter. I mean, I got nothing good to say about, or nothing but good things to say about Bryce Young. I haven't met him personally. I know he's a busy man. Leading the Panthers is it's a tough organization to lead. A lot of the weight's on his shoulder right now, which I can respect his focus and his ability to, live that family life off the field is something impressive.
I will say this: he's a great guy. I think he'd be a great son-in-law. Objectively, just bad at quarterback, in my opinion. I know we're not really set. That's not really what we're going grading this off of. But again, I think he's slow. So so that's the only thing that keep me like maybe I don't want him top yet. Maybe the one right below it.
Yeah, you're still considering genetics.
Yeah, you got to, right?
It's a have her home by 10 p.m. type situation. Same with Baker, right? It's not that you don't trust him, that you trust him enough to go out with your daughter and by themselves, unmonitored. But it's like, hey man, have her home by 10. Let's not get too crazy with this night. No, you're like, go and humble yourself.
Yep.
What do we think of Bryce here?
I'm thinking would allow my daughter to date cautiously.
Okay. So up there with Aaron. behind Aaron though, right?
Yeah, behind Aaron, of course.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Aaron's in the league. So we still have no Hayes sons. I mean, it's a tough category. I mean, if
Yeah,
I'm
I
calling
mean,
you son, you have to really impress me.
yeah, I gotta be honest. I am feeling one coming up, but it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah, Caleb Williams.
Ain't
I
the
mean,
spirit. Ain't the
what's there
spirit. That yeah, nah.
what's there to say about this guy other than just overhyped, total trash can? I mean, if you're going to if your first commitment, I mean, not a lot of people know this about Caleb. He was the first quarterback in history to be offered a starting position at every single D1 school in the nation. Not a lot of people know that. He had the offers. He decided to go with USC. Now, where's his mind at in that position? You know, if you're thinking about dating our daughter, where's his mind at? He wants to go to university. That's gonna party. That's gonna have all the babes. He wants options. You know, so I just can't trust a guy who's always looking for a second.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gonna get a lot of D1 offers for a wife as well. You know, um, he's gonna get plenty of D1 offers for wives, and my daughter is gonna be probably D3. I mean, we're thinking about offers here. Uh, is he gonna even accept the offer for my daughter? I have no idea.
No, that's so true with a man like Caleb. We Garrett, I know we tried to do that interview with him after the bowl season had ended. You know, he's looking like a number one prospect. Of course, he's a busy man, so we're not going to hold this against him. But I remember I was trying to do that interview with him, and we called his manager, and it just happened so that Caleb was there with his manager while this conversation was
I
happening.
do remember this now.
Yeah, dude. So we call him from our Tesla, and we're on speaker, and his manager's asking what's going on. He knows us. He knows what's going on. He knows the podcast. And we were like, hey, let's conduct an interview. Let's get, this is a number one prospect coming in the NFL. And I just remember hearing Caleb in the background chuckling like this wasn't a big deal for him. Especially, USC, tough season last year. Controversial. But, you're going to be a number one prospect going in the NFL, first overall draft pick, and you're not even going to put time for us? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, no, I remember specifically what you're talking about. We hear him chuckling, and then when he does show up, I square up with him, and I was like,
That's
bud."
right. You did.
"Yeah, yeah." I squared up with him, and I was like, "Hey, bub, look here. You might be a D1 athlete, but I'm a D1. I'm a D1 Street Fighter." And I get in his face, and I'm like, "Let's go." And then he decides no, and then we do the interview, and it honestly was a great interview.
Dude, it's crazy that he backed out of that fight. That's what blows my mind. Like, you were ready to throw down with him, but Caleb he was having none of it. It was insane to watch.
Yeah. I mean, the guy. I mean, when you square up in my studio, like that's you. We all know that's not gonna fly. I mean, I would have whipped the guy's ass and still would. So I think I think maybe either behind Kyler or behind Brock Purdy.
I think he might be ahead of Kyler in this situation.
Okay.
Because he might be ahead because you still gotta respect that he kind of bowed up to you
Yeah.
at the end of the day. We're talking 6'3", 220, brother. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive for a man
that's
like
what I told
Kyler,
him. I was like,
Caleb.
really? You want to fight me, the guy you're coming to interview? Like, I'm 290, brother. I get you on the ground, it's over.
No, exactly.
So, okay. Okay, next we've got
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. Yeah.
Man,
So
CJ.
CJ's he's very young, very inexperienced. But I mean, he is on a consistent. So this man is driven. We see him on the field. We see him trying to get his father out of prison, who's been, by his admission, wrongfully convicted. when you look into it, you don't really know. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I mean,
go ahead,
go ahead,
Jack.
Brock. No, you go ahead, Brock. You take the reins.
No, I mean, I can respect somebody that comes from a a spotty background, something from nothing, type of guy, great leader. But man, elephant in the room, right? He's just not a good looking dude.
I'm glad you brought that up, Brock. I really am, because
I gotta be
I know
honest, I was thinking that too.
we weren't taking this into consideration for a while now, but God, an asymmetrical face is just something you don't want from a guy. And we're still rocking a goatee. It's 2024, brother. This is we're not in our Limp Bizkit era. Why are we rocking the goatee still? It's insanity.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You know,
go ahead.
I'll say, you may be the king in Houston right now, CJ, but there's some personal touches that you're just not taking care of. So it's starting to make me think that your attention to detail lacks.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% feel you there. I'd say he's got some growing up to do before he could date my daughter. Personally, if she insisted, I would think CJ would probably be at a monitored date capacity.
100%.
Yep.
So next up we have. What were you saying, Brock?
No, Rain Dakota Prescott. Dak.
Yeah, I mean Dak. Look, I'm gonna try and stay out of this one because you guys know I'm a Dallas fan.
No. I gotta use the bathroom, Garrett. You take the reins on this. You know my opinion on Dak. You know me and Dak's beef in the past. There has been some physical altercations. It is what it is. Garrett, take the reins. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Okay, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. So Dak slammed T-Bone Trev at an intersection. Trev was driving the Range Rover, and Dak slammed into him and fled the scene of the accident. We didn't report him because he was going to have an interview with us a few days later, so not trying to get this guy arrested, but I mean, the guy fled the scene of an accident. That's a pretty serious serious thing. If he were anyone else, that would have been jail time.
For sure.
Personally, Dak, for me, I wouldn't let him near my daughter just because the guy just reeks of choking, man. He chokes. He chokes in the playoffs. Is he gonna choke at the altar with my daughter?
Cold feet. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, he looks like the type of guy that would get cold feet for sure. I'm getting that vibe. Now that you mention. Yeah, no, man, I don't. Seems like you guys have a lot more better read of him than I do. I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah, I was personally gonna put Dak in kind of behind Kyler.
Not quite. Okay.
If I have one statement on Dak, this is my
Trev, I was
one
just
and only
telling him
statement.
about how Dak T-boned you when you were driving the Range.
Dude, don't even get me started on this motherfucker. This is my one statement on him. We're gonna move on to the next guy, but in any respectable country, Dak would have been beaten with a hammer. I'm just saying.
That's actually a good segue into our next candidate here, because that was what some fans were saying about Mr. Daniel Jones here.
Which I think we have Daniel on the line. Hear me out, gentlemen. With Daniel Jones coming up, we're gonna have a live interview with him.
So he completed his case.
Yeah, we had Daniel in the beginning. I know we were having some audio issues, so we didn't capture that. But
I think if we figure out the Daniel Jones audio,
can you tell your field reporter to stop texting me?
Daniel,
okay, so we have Daniel
we
Jones
do have
here.
him. I think we all need to ask Daniel one dating question for our daughters, and we can decide from there.
Daniel, by the way, thanks for joining.
No. What people don't know is I'm aromantic and asexual.
No kidding.
No,
Well-
yeah, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
God damn it. So, Daniel, if you're okay with it, I think each of us is going to ask you one question in regards to dating our daughter. Obviously, you're not right now. We're not lucky enough to do it,
I'll
but
take her.
we're going to ask you each one question. If y'all don't mind, I'll go first. Let y'all think over those questions. Daniel, if you were with my daughter and you were trapped on a deserted island, what's the first 3 items you're bringing?
Could go to the next question.
Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel, I don't know if you heard or not, but whenever any quarterback's going into the draft, I always ask one question, right? Do you remember your answer whenever I asked what you would do to propose to your significant other? You remember your answer, Daniel?
I said, "Oh my God, hold on.
That
First
that's
thing I'm
right.
bringing on a deserted island.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
My
so you're
Game
gonna
Boy
answer
Advance.
Trev's question?
second thing I'm bringing an almanac. Is that what that's called?
What is it?
An almanac.
You're bringing an
You know, an
almanac,
almanac.
okay? Oh yeah, almanac.
What is
Very
that?
familiar with it. It's the almanac. It's just a conglomeration of different words throughout languages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna make my own language,
Wow.
and I'm gonna teach it to the critters of the island.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring football to the Caribbean.
Wow.
Look out, Haiti.
Look
A-
how hate.
You're bringing a football or the concept of football?
A football is my third item, but the concept will also be there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow, Daniel.
That's an intangible item, so that counts. Dan, yeah,
Wow.
thank you so much for joining, by the way.
What was the second question?
Yeah, so Brock had a second question.
Yeah, Daniel. As you know, I ask the same question to every quarterback that goes into the draft.
Oh, a surfboard. Maybe
You
that
also-
too.
Yeah, you bring a surfboard. Yeah. Okay. So the question that I asked you, as you know, is how would you propose to your significant other? And in what way? Do you remember the answer you gave me?
Pick 6.
Sex?
Yeah. Sex.
Pick 6.
It's a great
Sorry,
answer. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Did you say big sax or sex?
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks.
man, a few words here. I mean, Daniel. Just this is a guy we can reel about. Garrett, do you have your one question for Daniel as far as dating daughter?
Yeah, Daniel, I again thank you for joining. I had one question. So in a father-daughter relationship, it's important for me to be, friends, maybe
Wait.
not friends. What's
Who's
wrong?
your daughter?
Oh, I don't know if you know, Daniel. We're doing a tier list of quarterbacks we would let date our daughter.
I didn't know you had a daughter.
I do.
Well, good for you.
Thank you. So, so Daniel, I was gonna ask. So, what is your opinion on religion when it comes to parenting?
Like, what denomination do I follow for parenting?
Maybe not that, just in general.
What religion do I follow?
Are you asking? Are you
Scientology.
asking me? You're- so you're a Scientologist?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Tom Cruise got me in. He's a big Giants fan. Well, he's a big Saquon fan. But you know how that went. We talked about that last time. And this still gets choked up.
So just to, I want you folks to hear it here first. So Daniel Jones, you are a Scientologist?
Yes.
How
I also can confirm. Brock Purdy did not shoot Ricky Pearsall.
Thank you for that
I
confirmation.
found that out recently.
You were
Those are really
suspicious, I
going
remember.
around in the locker room.
Yeah, you were suspicious.
Yeah. I didn't even know Darren Waller wasn't on the team anymore. They still let him in there.
Okay.
Darren Waller's still in the locker room?
He's just hanging out. We can't get rid of him.
I mean, typical of Darren.
That is a Darren move.
He's the one that started that rumor.
I mean,
Was it
at this
solely a
point,
locker room?
I was gonna say, at this point, we just don't know who shot Pearsall.
No, we don't. What is it? What's this interview for?
It's just for Fourth and Long, Dan. That biggest, by the way, biggest sports.
I don't want to
stream
talk
audio.
about 4th and Long.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
It's nothing against you, Dan. That's just the name of our show.
It wasn't called this last time.
We went through some changes, Dan. I mean, it's nothing to concern
Merger.
yourself about. Merger. I mean, we're talking business stuff, which you're
Oh.
fully aware of. Yeah, you're fully aware.
I see.
Daniel, if I may, I want to ask. Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of just meandered over, but so have Tom Cruise converted you to Scientology?
Oh, yeah.
Explain
Really fast. Oh, you just fast that. Like I said, he's a big Giants fan. I was handing out autographs, not outside the stadium, but at this local bar that I don't want to say, because I don't want to like everyone to show you up.
Uh-huh.
But Tom Cruise was in town because he's thinking about getting back on the stage. He's sick of movies. He said it's probably the worst decision he's made in his life.
Was doing
Just to be on
movies.
film.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's going to try to the stage again. I think they're doing a run of Cabaret, and he really wants to be in it. But anyways, what he doesn't know is that I'm also a huge musical theater fan. So we were chatting it up over a couple of Guinnesses, and then he was kind of telling me about how he had this realization of how he wanted to be on stage through this time in Scientology. It just took him about 20 to 30 to 40 years. I don't remember. I was hammered. But it sounded cool.
That's sick.
So now you're a Scientologist.
Yeah. One of the best, actually.
Daniel, this may be a little off topic, Daniel, but let me ask: you're coming into your next game here, right? Giants.
Yeah, I'm on the plane right now.
It's been questionable, but Daniel, what are we looking forward to coming into this game with the Commanders? I mean, you're going against a young Jaden Daniels. I mean, he was the best rookie quarterback coming into this season. Yeah, no, you're playing Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. What's kind of a game plan you're looking forward going into this game?
Well, my whole perspective on the game of football's been changed since I started going to the Church of Scientology. I've been in there, I don't know, 3 days.
Oh,
And
so
I've had a
this was
whole new
really
perspective
recent.
open up. No, yeah. I met him right after that last game. Yeah, I don't know if you saw how rough it was. I mean, it's not the worst. People I think are overreacting to my performance. Act like they haven't done a pick six before.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that you just don't really try during the games as a handicap to other teams.
Well, that's the thing. Scientology is all about letting go.
Wow.
That's very true.
So in a way, I was a Scientologist before I found the church,
Wow.
before I met Tom. But now I just have that support under me. And I feel a little more confident to go out there and sling the ball around. I'm
Dan,
not too worried about where it's going to land.
Dan, Would it be cool if all three of us came with you to a Scientology sermon one time?
Um,
I'm gonna take that as he
I
is.
don't know how that works.
Have you
I'm
been
still
to?
new, like I
I know it's
said.
been
You
3
gotta.
days. Have you been to one?
It's to what?
A sermon? Do they? Is Scientology like a church where you have a Sunday service?
You usually just take a bunch of quizzes, and they see where you're at from day to day, and they say that I
Okay.
scored the top.
Okay.
They gave you an A+, huh, Daniel?
Daniel, I don't know how much time you have, but if you want, you can stick around. We're gonna keep ranking these quarterbacks for the next few minutes here.
I have one more question for
Well, then I'm
Daniel
trying to
before
find
he
my quiz
goes.
scores. They're online somewhere.
Daniel, if I may, can I ask one more question of you? It might be a little personal.
Go for it.
Daniel, I know
real quick.
I know there's a huge case on the money laundering scheme that was happening with you and some of the Vegas bettors. Could you elaborate more?
They said I scored 20 feed-ins.
Very impressive.
That's
Daniel,
their
could you
version of an A+.
elaborate more on your money laundering case that's actually open in trial right now?
What the fuck?
I know. I mean, it's
Do you know about this?
It's a touchy topic.
No. Fuck
Oh.
is he talking about?
Daniel, you were
Is this
supposed to
one
be
of these gotcha things?
No, you were
No.
What
supposed
is
to be at
this,
court
Shock
2
Talk
weeks ago.
Radio? You're going to corner me in front of everyone? I thought you wanted to talk about the game. I was like, you were talking about Scientology, and now you're getting deep into my fucking finances.
No, Daniel,
No,
it's nothing
we're not.
personal, man.
We're not, Daniel.
You know what? Fuck all your daughters. You deserve it. They
Okay.
don't deserve any of this, and I don't deserve any of this.
Daniel.
I'd love
No,
to
you
see any of you. I'd love to see any of you get into that church and score 20 thetans. You couldn't. You couldn't.
You're probably
What does
right
this
about
stream
that,
need to
Daniel.
develop?
If you're talking about
What are we
my
doing?
Scientology quiz scores.
So you've
But
taken the
Daniel, I mean,
test.
you don't have to go there. We've had a good relationship. We ranked you as the top QB in the NFL a few weeks ago.
Yeah, who the fuck even said that?
Me and Trevor did.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry about what just happened there. That was that wasn't me. Yeah, I'm getting a message right now from my accountability partner in the church, and they're saying that was pretty low theta score of what I just did. So if there's any way, I'm going through some financial hardship, and it's been really hard with this legal trouble I'm in. So if you guys could find it in your hearts to forgive me, I would like to place myself on the board of dating your daughter.
I mean, Dan, you're always going to
I'd
be
like to place myself on the tier list if that's okay.
Dan, where do you think you need to be on this tier list? I mean, this is unprecedented, but we'll
What
let you
what are
place
my
yourself.
options?
Oh man, Garrett, if you could go ahead and give Dan the list.
Apology accepted, by the way. That's mighty big of you,
Yeah,
Dan.
apology accepted, Dan. I mean, this has been a rough time for a lot of us here.
Yeah. If COVID, you know.
So Dan,
Dan, we're calling you
rough on all
son.
of us.
We're calling you
Daniel,
son,
I'd be
Dan.
honored for you to be my son-in-law, to be honest. Given that outburst as well.
Who is that ugly motherfucker on the second row?
That is Aaron Rodgers and Bryce Young.
Dear God. You still around?
He is still
Aaron
around.
Yeah, Bryce is still playing for the Panthers. Yes, to all of our shocks.
Aaron Rodgers shares
Insane.
the city with you, Daniel. He plays for the team across the. Oh, you guys share a stadium.
Oh my God. He's on
Yeah.
the other New York team, huh?
Yeah.
I heard he was at Waco.
No, he's not a Branch Davidian. No.
No shit. Wait, what did all these what did that? I have dinner with the parents only. Have her home
Yeah.
by 10 p.m. Cleaning
These
my
are
gun
just
if she
different
shows
tiers
up.
of how comfortable we'd be with our daughters dating an NFL quarterback.
Here's that
depending-
forehead on the bottom.
That's Bo
Oh,
Nix.
that's Bo Nix, that piece of shit. Dan, I know you and Bo have had
Oh, okay.
quite the scuffles in the past. I mean, we couldn't help but put him at the bottom.
Dan, I know you feel strongly about one quarterback that's not on this list, Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Oh my God. Really, we gonna get into this again?
I mean, we always love to hear your takes on
Can
Andy.
if Andy Dalton were on this list, it wouldn't be cleaning my gun if he shows up. It'd be firing my gun if he shows up.
Wow. Interesting, Dan.
Wow.
I would not let my gay daughter anywhere near him.
Is this on account of him being redheaded?
It's on account of that he loves lesbian women.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
He loves
mean,
lesbian
Andy-
woman. Yeah, that's fair, Cole. Or that's fair. Dan. So
Will not
Dan,
leave
you
my
can
daughter alone.
Dan, you can we're gonna try and rank
Mhm.
these here. We've got a little bit of time left. We're gonna try and go through as many of these as possible. So if you want to help us rank some of these NFL quarterbacks as far as dating our daughters, you're welcome.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So I only have one thing to add. Derek Carr is the next guy up. I don't have too much of a thought other than the fact that this guy code switches, right?
What is that?
Does he really?
Yeah, so I'm not talking about code switching between like white person and black person who he's talking to, but it's more so he'll code switch. He bounces back and forth between portraying himself as an Xbox guy versus a PlayStation guy, and there's even some days he introduces himself as a desktop guy, mouse and keyboard.
No shit.
That makes so much sense because it really reflects in his game because he code switches between being a good quarterback and a bad quarterback.
What is for me included? What is code switch?
Well, code switching's typically, people of color ordinarily do it based on who they're talking with. If it's somebody that's with, say, if it's an African American, a black person, they might, when they're around fellow black people, they might have like the more vernacular, that's used between them. Whereas if they're with a group of like some white folks, they might talk a little bit more like us. It's something that's well known inside the circles of them. Obviously, we don't really portray it. We don't really deal with it that much. But the interesting thing about Derek, he doesn't do it with people like in terms of race or creed or anything like that. It's based off of whether or not
Consoles.
if he gets a vibe, if they are an Xbox or like an Xbox console player or a PlayStation player, he'll talk about Xbox exclusives only. He'll talk about PlayStation exclusives only. There'll even be times when I'm talking about just mouse and keyboard. But I'll tell you, when I've gone over to his house, Nintendo only.
What? Oh, and he won't even bring it up in public?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he's only got Nintendo products at his house.
And he acts like he's a console guy.
Yeah, and then mouse and keyboard. This is somebody that's just not comfortable in his skin. That's
Wow.
why.
It says a lot about the character because it's such a trivial. Oh, we lost Dan. I mean, damn it. But I mean, with Derek, that's such a trivial thing to be concerned about. Now I'm starting to question whether or not with Derek, it's like if you're concerned about what console or what platform you're playing on, what's your concern about dating my daughter?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
Wow.
changing your tone based on who you're around constantly, that's a big red flag for me. I mean, like you essentially have one of those Harry Potter cloaks where you can just blend in with everyone. And that to me just reeks of not being genuine.
I mean, at this point, I think
Restraining order
Derek.
is more off the table for me personally.
I mean, it's not, I couldn't agree more. I think Derek might be a restraining order type guy.
Well, okay.
Especially if he's extremely manipulative.
Yeah, I mean that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who do we got next? Who is this?
That's
Sean Watson.
That's somebody that might actually, real talk, belong on the restraining order.
Deshaun Happy Ending Watson.
Yeah. So this guy is
What
actually
happened?
just legitimately a monster. I want him nowhere in the vicinity of my daughter.
No, I mean
What
Deshaun. I'm gonna be cleaning my gun inside the massage parlor that Deshaun's at.
What happened?
Garrett, I know you're involved with every other quarterback in the league, so it's okay that you missed this incredibly huge story. But Deshaun Watson was a guy who had a slew of accusations that are certainly true, of getting of asking for sexual advances while getting massaged. And I'm talking like 40 different instances, with multiple different women.
Wow.
He is just not a good person.
Yeah, that. I mean, I say no more. Restraining order, right, guys? I mean, he's going above
Yeah,
No.
par.
he's at the
Absolutely,
top of
Deshaun
the-
Watson, complete piece of shit. I mean, I remember back in I think it was like 20. It was like January 2020. This is like pre-COVID, maybe even like late 2019. I mean, I remember hanging out with Deshaun, and literally the only thing he could talk about is this massage parlor that was a few blocks down. And I'm like, dude, we're at Wolfgang Puck. Let's enjoy a good steak dinner. And he just, I mean, his focus wasn't there, and it made when that story broke, it made so much sense.
Yeah, that's say no more, guys. I mean, that's no husband material for my daughter for sure.
No, hell no.
So who do we got here?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'll be honest.
I don't know who that is either.
That might be Drake.
Yeah, that. Oh God, what's his fucking name?
I'm actually certain that's Drake May. That's Drake May.
That is Drake May. That's the name.
Who's he the quarterback
Yeah.
for? He is the new quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we haven't had personal connections with Drake May, Garrett. I know that with the podcast. Brock, you may have spoken to him, especially going into that 2024 draft class. I mean, a lot of young studs going into the QB position. Drake May just not a guy I talk to. But I mean, just from first glance, I'm looking at this guy. He seems like someone who is ready to throw down, not physically, but in a party sense. I mean, Drake May looks like the type of guy who you're gonna take. I mean, Garrett, I know you got your third lake house. I mean, we could bring him out to your lake house, and he's someone who's gonna have a good time. He's gonna bring a real good energy.
So I've never met Drake May personally. He's from North Carolina, UNC. It's where he was a quarterback. I can tell you who obviously knows him well, who I'm connected to, as you guys know, is Mac Brown, the coach for UNC, the longtime
Okay.
coach for the University of Texas. I can tell you about his visit with him whenever he was recruiting him. Went well, met the family, all that good stuff. Great family, great head on their shoulders. And as most coaches like to do, they like to go into the recruit's room and see, get a little bit of an idea of who they are. And Mac told me the weirdest thing about him. He said it's not one not 2, not even a dozen. He's talking about hundreds of half-completed Rubik's Cubes.
Oh my god.
Rubik's Cubes. Just everywhere.
So we're talking about a half-completed career, probably.
Yeah, and then he was really, 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 because he's recruiting. This is a highly sought after recruit, right? So Max saying, like, man, do I really want this guy? And then he obviously asked him, like, hey, so what's up with all these? He's like, oh man, you don't get it. I do half of these. I do these Rubik's cubes while I sleepwalk. So he's what he does is he does half of
No
it when he's
shit.
awake, and then when he sleepwalks, he does these while he's sleepwalking. The guy's a walking freaking. He's a genius. So
Halfway.
yeah, halfway. But then whenever he sleepwalks, he's also a genius. He's finishing this stuff while he sleepwalks, and he called him out on this. Then he came back the next day, and sure as shit, they were all completed. Full ride scholarship that day.
I mean,
That's insane.
I mean, with Drake May, it seems like an uncommitted man. I mean, we're looking at someone who is able, in his own, I mean, sleepwalking. Of course, you're not drunk, but like in his own sober mind while he's awake, just can't commit to something and needs an outlet to be able to fully finish something. I mean, and if we're talking in the terms of dating our daughters, is Drake May a guy that you want around permanently? It's a deep question, something we got to think about.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's
Yeah, I mean, if he has to be asleep to finish my daughter, that's an issue.
for sure. Hey, here. I got you. I'm gonna let him in my property. I'm okay with that. He's a sharp kid, but I might make sure I have a little something on me. Just that's ready for him. So I'm okay with cleaning my pew myself.
Okay. Maybe above the rest.
I think that's a fair position for Drake May.
Yeah. And okay, so our next one, we've spoke a lot about Gardner Minshew. The guy just, I mean, we have him as the lowest category on here just because, I mean, the guy just reeks. I mean, me and Trev interviewed him one time. I mean, the guy smells. He smells like gasoline and kombucha mixed. I mean,
it was crazy that interview we did. Like, a lot of the times we're able to put like personal feelings aside coming in these interviews. Because we're talking to some of the best athletes in the world, especially in the QB position. And Gardner, like, we could not get past the smell. I mean,
it was hard. We booked him for a 6-hour interview, and how long did we last, Trev? I forgot.
I think it was like an hour 40, man. And like it was a good vibe with him, but
it literally felt like when I was breathing, my lungs were burning because of how bad it smelled.
I've never physically smelled air, Like you breathe in and you physically feel it. Like it was a crazy interview.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so no more. I mean, you guys have gotten our opinion on Gardner Minshew over the years here. Okay, next we have Geno Smith.
This one touches my heart. I mean, this is one I was waiting on personally. A man like Geno. This isn't a story I share a lot, especially publicly. Garrett was out of town. I think he was on a honeymoon or you're on vacation or something. This was early 2018. Me and Geno had linked up. He knows a lot of the food out in the Washington area, and so I was in Washington watching one of the Seattle games, and me and Geno were hanging out. Man, it's tough. And he opened up a lot about his personal life, and it really hit home with me. Geno's. I mean, we're talking Sudafed abuse. it was a lot of things that he wouldn't share publicly. He has at this point, but me and Gino were talking about it, the abuse of Sudafeds that he was going through. Of course, I wasn't going through it at that time, but I can understand the hardships of it.
Right.
And he just seemed like such a genuine guy in that moment. I mean, we're talking a 2.5 hour road trip of us just sitting in the car and him opening up about these things. And it's hard not to respect a guy like Gino. You know, to be able to be at your weakest moment with someone you barely knew. I mean, I only met Gino a couple times before that, and he opened up with his problems with Sudafed as a whole. He had a pill problem at the time. Um, it, this is a guy I trust. This is a guy I want to bring home. You know, I would, me personally, I'd call my son.
Yeah.
I'm crying over here, man. That was beautiful.
It was a beautiful moment. I can't hold anything past the guy. I mean, he's leading the Seattle Seahawks to arguably their best chance at the Super Bowl since 2019, and it's something beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was just, it's been robbery to see this team not go further here. But yeah, Geno Smith, I definitely, man, I wholeheartedly believe Trev's statements here. So I'm gonna put him top tier. Brock, I don't know if you have any opinion, but
I have nothing to push back on that.
who do we got next year?
We got the young stud in Washington, Jaden Daniels.
No, Jaden Daniels is in between Jared Goff and JJ McCarthy. That's Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett, that's who it is.
That's New England. So it's up to you guys if we want to do backups as well, because we also have Justin Fields, who's in Pittsburgh, and then Russell Wilson, who's in Pittsburgh.
No,
I mean,
we don't have to
Justin
do backups.
started week 1. Let's not do backups. Fuck Jacoby.
Jalen Hurts.
Yep, Jalen Hurts.
Garrett, I know we had some big opinions about Jalen, but I definitely want to get Brock's take on this.
So, as everybody knows about Jalen, he's a big gym freak. He lives in the weight room, right?
Right.
There's a viral videos of him squatting. It looks like almost 500 pounds.
Yeah.
What people don't know is that he is actually the worst spotter that you've ever come across.
No shit.
He doesn't want to spot. He refuses to, and he's been this way since high school. You know, it's not like, hey, I'm better than you. I'm the big shot quarterback now. No, he's been this way, man. If you press him about why he doesn't want to do his teammates do, he just says simply, "I have better things to do," and he's out the door.
Wow.
He gets his work in, and then he's gone. But great leader on the field, just not in the gym. So weight room, not when it works out. Now I want to say this though. I want to say this though before we kill him too much, is that hey, that is a beautiful man. Jalen Hurts is a beautiful man.
Oh yeah.
We need to make that be clear.
Oh
yeah, I mean, great teeth. Face is symmetrical. Like he's got it going. I mean, that's the one interview that me and Garrett were not able to secure in the beginning days of our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to get Jalen on several times now. Still haven't met with him. But yeah, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. Had him as my main QB for my fantasy last year. I mean, the guy puts up consistent points. I do have to say, as a Dallas fan, when we did beat them, I think it was like week 9, week 10 last year, and he just walked off the field and didn't shake Dak's hand. That just that did not sit well with me, and that's probably just a Dallas bias coming from me here. But otherwise, I don't really have a bone to pick with the guy. I do know he has an extensive Lego set. I mean, he's got the Millennium Falcon. He's got the Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah, he does have some of those rare collections. Man, yeah, fucking hell, Jalen, creative guy, off and on the field.
Oh, so creative. I mean, the guy's got a Lego. The guy's got a Lego collection like I've never even seen.
I mean, I think this is one of those that bring her home by 10, Jalen, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Trev. Brock, you agree?
Yep.
Okay.
Next up, we got Jared Goff,
Jared
Detroit
Goff here.
Lions.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys agree with this. This I could be just being really off the wall, like mean here, but I think Jared Goff just looks Mormon, man. I mean, just look at him. The
Yeah.
guy. I mean, where do you play college ball at? Do you guys know?
He was at it was California school. I think it was Cal. No, it was. I think it was Cal.
Okay. I was hoping it'd be BYU, but
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. I would say he was at the University of California for sure.
okay. Yeah, I mean, haven't got to meet this guy, but I will say I was 100% rooting for the Lions last year, when it came down to the playoffs. But Jared's just got he's got some sort of tenacity about him that I think could be son-in-law worthy, but he's yet to prove himself when it comes down to it because we saw last year, had a little bit of a choke in the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, this guy at practice, and he said this, he throws over 2,000 balls a day at practice. And you know, they've got their net set up to where he's for, you know, to measure accuracy, and he does well at practice. He just can't execute on the field, and I think that could be due to the blisters that throwing 2,000 balls at practice could give you.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, you know, Jared Goff is he's an open book. It's not a player that you're looking too in depth into. I mean, everything he does and the person who he is pretty much out there for the world to see. Jared, at the end of the day, I think, you know, great success with the Rams, going into Detroit, reviving that organization. It says a lot about a character of an individual, and if that's someone my daughter ended up with dating, you know, at that point, the only thing I'm asking is, what's your family life like? You know, is this someone I need to meet your parents? Like, you know, are we gonna have good Thanksgivings, bad Thanksgivings, good Christmas, bad Christmas? You know, Jared's got it going for him, but I need to know a little bit more about your family's history.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Y'all think dinner with parents?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
All right,
So-
now we're on to Jaden Daniels.
Yep. The only thing I had to say about Jaden Daniels, phenomenal quarterback. I think he's got a great career. He's got a fucked up arm, dude. I don't know if you've seen there's a viral photo of him. He's got like his elbow
On his
almost.
throwing arm?
Yeah. Like if you can look it up.
Yeah, let me look it up.
I don't know. I feel weird. I'd feel weird being around it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've never seen this photo. What the hell is going on here?
Oh my lord, what?
Real. That's a real photo.
Was he
I don't know.
in an
I think
accident?
he's like double jointed type of thing. I don't know
Double
what it is.
jointed. It looks like he was in a freaking crash.
Well, no, man.
It doesn't even look like his forearm is attached to his fucking bicep area.
Yeah, he looks like an android, right? Like it's like a.
He looks
He
like
might be an
one of
android.
the aliens from Sector 9.
Yeah. So that's my
My
feedback
God.
on Jalen Daniels.
This is
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna put everything aside, and just based on that arm photo, I want a restraining order. I don't need to see
I
that.
think I might need that. Why is this on Fox? Whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I can.
I don't.
I think we got to
I
put
don't.
him in Gardner Minshew
Yep.
based on the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Trev.
Yeah, no, put him in Gardner Minshew. Get that. If I have to see that in person, I'm gonna throw up. Like that's insane. Jaden, whatever you got going on personally, or whoever you are, it's nothing against your character, but that's fucked up, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's like, hey, pass the potatoes, and he leans over and nudges me with his dislocated
With his
elbow.
shiv elbow.
Yeah, with his recently reattached looking arm.
I mean, I'm gonna come out and say that I hope Jaden loses his arm.
Thank you.
You're all thinking it.
Okay, what do
Now,
we got next?
the man of the hour,
That's
Will Levis.
It's not Will Levis. Will Levis is up there.
Why do I keep fucking up Will Levis? Oh, he's at the end. Who is
Yeah.
this? What the fuck?
It's Jay McCarthy.
Oh, it's Jake. Sorry, other
Well-
generic white guy.
Yeah, J McCarthy, man.
Holy
JJ
hell.
ridiculous.
I'll say RIP his career.
What happened to his career?
I think he tore his ACL or something.
Yeah, towards ACL in practice.
Oh, so should we just keep him out of this, or
I mean, yeah, weak bones.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
make
'cause
a fair assumption.
Yeah, that's fair. Sam Darnold's not up here, but and he's the quarterback. But I don't care. We can skip him.
so Joe Burrow here?
Bro,
This is
yeah, I fucking bro.
you what?
I'll be honest. I know it's not professional to say, but I hate Joe Burrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Why?
this is a guy just.
how so?
This is a guy that just thinks that he's the embodiment of I'm better than you.
Brock,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
glad
look at
you're
it.
I'm glad you're here because I couldn't agree more. Joe Burrow just gives off an energy. I mean, if we're talking in the realm of dating our daughters, Joe Burrow just comes off as the guy who says he would tell you to your face, "I'm doing this as a favor to her because I could get anyone."
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I could agree with that. I talked to
Well,
Joe
this is-
Burrow for a few minutes one time at a Chipotle, and he honestly didn't want anything to do with me. He was trying to get out the door, and it was just, I just got a lot from his character from that.
If a guy changes his hairstyle as much as he does, how often do you think he's going to go through girls? He can't hold on to anything. He's not going to commit.
Yeah, I can't
I-
tell if he's trying to be a quarterback or trying to be in a, the next Twilight movie based on how he looks. I don't.
Like Joe, you can't grow a beard. Why are you trying to come at me sideways?
Right. Yeah, have we seen him grow a beard? Because I'm pretty sure that's not possible for him.
I don't think he can.
I really don't think so either.
That Bengals Super Bowl run was pure luck. It was for the story. A lot of people want to say the NFL's rigged. This is one of those moments that I may agree with them. College Joe Burrow, the LSU team, probably the best offense in the history of college football, hands down. But
Yeah.
I mean, it just does not translate to the NFL, and we're seeing it. That Week 1 upset, it knocked me out of the Survivor League. I thought them going against the Patriots was a shoe-in, but if you can't beat the Patriots, you can't beat my mind when it comes to dating my daughter. Joe Burrow, probably cleaning my gun. I'm gonna need to humble the guy.
Yeah, I want him at the end of one personally.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, we're talking about a quarterback who went out because he got a little injured fingy. So, I just feel like that's a fair assumption for him. So next we have Jordan Love. So my opinion on Jordan Love, and this is just solely based on my few interactions with him and his play time, but as a Cowboys fan, the Packers knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs last year, and seeing Jordan Love's tenacity there, and we talked before and after the game, and he knew this was really important to me, and he still went and beat the Cowboys, so I'd put him in Gardner Minshew.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't know
That's
about you
fair.
guys.
I'm a Jordan Love fan myself, but your logic is airtight. I can't debate it.
No. I'm just saying my opinion. We don't have to go with that, guys. I'm just as a bitter Cowboys fan, that's how I feel.
Here's how we know about. Here's a couple things we know about Jordan Love. Gray head on his shoulders, comes from who has he sat behind for the majority of his NFL career? Who was his I guess mentor?
Aaron.
It was none other than A-Rod himself, man.
Yep.
This you're telling me, and I know for a fact there are tons of things that he's taken from Aaron Rodgers on the football field, which can only tell me that as far as it relates to the prospect of them dating my daughter, that it's going to translate all the same. You know, sequels aren't always the best, right? So I don't think he needs to be above Aaron Rodgers personally, but I think he needs to be.
Yeah, I feel like I have an emotional attachment here, so I'm gonna let you guys rank it. You think maybe right here?
I think maybe have her home by 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
have her home by 10. Jordan, like you seem like a good guy, but let's give it a few weeks, maybe a couple months, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I got to stay out of this one, guys. Just it was our year, and he took that from us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Understandable.
that's just something that is hard for me to get behind. And I will hold that against y'all, by the way. But we're gonna keep him here.
Yep.
Josh
So,
Allen.
We have Josh Allen
I mean,
next.
I've never seen a bigger embodiment of Mayo in the form of a human than Josh Allen. This guy, I mean,
Miracle Whip at that.
Miracle Whip type individual. This is a how's the weather today type individual. Nothing against Josh's game. I know he's doing some good things in Buffalo, but boy howdy, is this an individual that I just cannot have a conversation with. I mean, Josh, the first time I meet Josh, we're gonna exchange names, and he's gonna be like, "Hey man, what you doing for work? And weather's pretty good today. How about them Bills?" Like he's just not.
Yeah, he's a real thank God it's Friday type guy.
Oh my god, a water cooler conversation individual, to say the least.
Yeah, he's like, hey, how's that baby doing? And in this case, he's talking about my daughter. So what do I think?
I mean, he's the type of guy that you meet in the office and you don't hate him, but you just don't want to be around
But
him.
also, there's something off about him. Like, why is he this into this job?
Exactly. It's like, man, there's a passion behind it that I just can't get behind.
And when you look into his eyes, you can sense he's like, I would betray you if it came down to it.
I mean, he's an I love math type guy.
Yeah, it's like, I love math. That's why I took this job.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd probably put him. I mean, maybe not Gardner Minshew. Maybe like
cleaning my gun.
Yeah,
personally.
I think right behind Joe Burrow.
I'm fine with that.
Personally.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair position for him. Again, to the folks listening and to the millions, it's nothing against them or their ability on the field. It's strictly based on if I want to hang out with this guy at the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
very fair.
So we
Fields.
have a decision, I think, right? Do we want to grade Russell Wilson or Justin Fields?
To be honest, I'm not even sure why Russ didn't start week 1.
Right.
Who's starting now?
So,
Russell?
It's technically Russ.
I think that there is no one that I want to. I would want to date my daughter less than, well, outside of Deshaun Watson, than Russell Wilson.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I mean, this guy
Broncos
is a
Nation,
huge
let's
piece
ride.
of shit.
Yep.
Huge piece of shit. Going into Pittsburgh, Steelers Nation, let's weld type energy. Like just the worst individual that I could think of. Garrett, I know we had the interview lined up. We had to cancel because we were going on that trip to Boca Raton. But I mean, Russell's not a guy I want to spend more than 10 minutes with.
No, he's definitely one of those guys who, right when he comes in, he's got an ulterior motive. I mean, when we canceled the interview on this one, by the way. So Russell came in and
The only time
immediately tried to
we've ever
pray
done it.
over us. What was that?
I'll say it's the only time we've ever canceled on our behalf.
Yeah. And still paid for his flight back, by the way. We didn't screw this guy. We gave him the $100K for this. And we just didn't want to do it. And that's, there's a lot of reasons why. Tried to pray over me, said that my car was satanic. I drive one of the new Ford Rangers, and yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, I'm definitely putting him under restraining order because there's something going on there.
Yeah,
Justin Fields.
Saying it.
We can just leave him since he's a second string here.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Justin Herbert is a guy that you get around a type of guy like Justin Herbert, and you're in for a good weekend. I don't know if that translates well into him dating your daughter, but I know Justin Herbert is a guy that I wouldn't mind spending a Saturday, Sunday with on a beach somewhere, golf match. He's a good time nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was at January 6th. Like, he saw the whole thing, participated a little bit, but no conviction
Just
there.
little.
Yeah,
just a little.
Just a little bit. I mean, he was there enough to see what happened. We don't know if he stayed long enough for the shenanigans part, but the guy's a class act. I mean, I did talk to him one time, and mostly we were just Yu-Gi-Oh dueling. The guy's a huge nerd, which I love. I mean, he comes in, he was just spamming pot of greed on me, and I was just laughing my ass off. I mean, it was like the funniest thing. But he's got a pretty good deck, and the guy just doesn't care about football, which I love.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want. Not out of the quarterback, but out of
Justin's the guy you want on your side.
Yeah, no doubt. We actually share a barber, Justin and I.
Oh.
And I had just got done with I just got done seeing Hugh, and Justin was right behind me. I was about to, pay up. I always like to tip in cash. It's a polite thing to do. I was strapped for cash. I didn't have anything on me. Justin saw me. He handed Hugh a fresh 20 on my behalf.
Oh.
So, yeah, he can absolutely, for me, he can absolutely date my daughter. That's me personally.
Maybe cautiously.
Sure. Yeah.
Which, with the word cautiously, we don't want to say like, we think they're up to anything, but as a dad, you're going to be cautious no matter what.
No doubt. Unless you're Daniel Jones or Geno Smith.
Right. Then absolutely no supervision. Okay, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no, Kirk's the type of guy that he'll take the family out to Kohl's and
he's a huge Kohl's guy.
Oh yeah, huge Kohl's guy. He's a family man through and through. I think that who wouldn't want somebody like Kirk to date their daughter? I think, but second thought, bad Achilles.
That's very true.
Bad Achilles.
And we got Penix lined up for when that day comes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
but
that's a
when
mon-
that day
that's a
does come, that could be, time for him to step up as a family man.
yeah, sure. That's a
Trev?
monitor day. What do you think, Trev?
That's okay. I think have her home by 10 p.m. maybe right in front of Jalen.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, Kurt, class act. He's actually huge into Magic the Gathering as well.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's another guy we talked to, just like Justin Herbert, that when we talked to him, he was like, I got to be honest with you guys, I don't care about football at all. And I honestly respected the hell out of that.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, how are you so good then? And he just said, he said in the words of the Joker, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And I was like, dude, you're so cool.
Yeah. Even though you're average. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I respect it.
So next we have Lamar Jackson. Lamar, for me, Lamar can't really be. He's someone who I don't 100% trust, and I'll tell you why. Is because. So, part of me and Trevor's job, and Brock has just come on board too, and it's part of his job too. But Lamar is one of those guys. Me and Trev hang out in the VIP section way before the game started. And so we were hanging out waiting for Lamar one time, and he comes out of his car and he tries to lure us over there. And we were like, what are you doing? And so he said, no, trust me, come over here. And so I'm like, it's Lamar Jackson. I'm going to go to his car. So we go sit in his car, and he pulls out a meth pipe. And we were like, what are you doing? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We're like, what are you doing? And so me and Trev, I mean, this might not be cool of me to mention, but me and Trev smoked meth with Lamar Jackson before their playoff game last year. And I mean, I don't know what was going through his mind, but we were just listening to Death Grips and we were smoking meth. And the guy performs on the field, but I don't know if that's the type of guy I want dating my daughter.
At the same time, the amount of confidence you have to have in your own abilities to partake in an illicit drug before undoubtedly the biggest game of your career, that takes balls.
Yeah.
I like balls.
Yeah. So even though with that in mind, I don't know if he's overcame this, addiction problem, but I would probably still allow him to date my daughter cautiously.
No doubt. Sure.
I mean,
man.
do you feel the same way?
You mirror my sentiments exactly, man. You're good. You're good.
Matthew Stafford.
Mad Stafford. So, crazy thing about, we're talking about amphetamines or uppers, right? With Lamar. So, huge story with him. Him and Cooper Kupp, they gathered this, they got this huge relationship together, on the field. And they got this by drinking coffee together. Like they would wake up early and they would have coffee together. They'd go over the playbook. Yeah, that's true. And I have some inside sources though that it's not just a relationship on the field.
Oh,
Yeah.
No
Matt
kidding.
Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have a strong opinion on Matthew Stafford. I do have a strong opinion on Cooper Kupp because he was mean to Puka Nacua last year one time.
Just a mean guy.
He is mean.
Yeah.
And if these guys are linking up, especially sexually, that could be a problem, especially for a marriage with my daughter.
Yep. He's Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I think Matthew Stafford needs to stay way clear of my daughter. Like, and figure that out. No hate, by the way, if that's the
No.
case.
Of course. But be public about it.
Right, right.
Like, well, what are you doing? It's
Yeah,
2024.
Yeah, it's like, brother, you have an army behind you.
Yep.
So we're not gonna expose too much.
No, I mean, of course not. We're talking about people's lives.
Right, we're not gonna reveal any unknown info. So we have Patrick Mahomes next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but he can
Brock,
date my daughter.
Our analyst Brock is #1 Chiefs fan here.
Yes.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I gotta admit, class act guy. He's also like probably one of the highest paid quarterbacks ever.
He's underpaid. He's like,
what's his contract right now?
That's something to be said. Something to be said. Oh, I think like based off of whenever you look at it, I think he's like the 8th or 9th highest paid quarterback right now.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. That says something about him, right? He doesn't need it.
He's willing to take less to be on a good team.
At the same time, I'm talking about my daughter here. I want her
Right.
to have everything.
Right.
So if that's one knock that I'm having on him, I want him to take everything that he's worth so he can best provide for my daughter. But outside of that, he's spades, right? So maybe I'm not calling him son, but you can date my daughter, and maybe I'll have an eye on you. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd say maybe monitored. What do you think? Dinner with parents?
Yeah, we
Home
can
by
do dinner
10.
with parents. No, you don't want to eat with the Mahomes family, man. I'd go lower. Maybe monitored works.
Yeah,
Won't even know.
you want to spy on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No doubt. Oh, so there is Sam. That's Sam Darnold.
Okay. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, no, Sam Darnold, drafted by the Jets, kind of a journeyman right now. He's in Minnesota, just trying to make sense of it all, man. Kind of a lost spirit, wandering soul, journeyman.
Hate to hear that.
But at the same time, this is somebody that I'm rooting for him personally. I think that as far as how we look for prospective, son-in-law, it's tough, man. This is a guy.
Sorry. I hate to interrupt you, Brock. Sorry, gentlemen. I was on a FaceTime. Deshaun Watson hit me up. He was not excited about he was not excited about his ranking. I don't know where he got my number, but Deshaun was very upset about his ranking. We hashed it out. It's all good. He understands, but I just wanted y'all to know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm sorry, Deshaun, but we're not changing it.
No.
I told
he knows that we have at least 4 quarterbacks above him, right? Like, I feel like we're being generous.
Oh yeah, I mean at least 4. We're talking lots.
I mean, I told Deshaun it could have been worse.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. He could have been Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, still.
Yeah. But, back to Sam. I would think less of my daughter if she brought Sam home, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably say Sam maybe in the cleaning my gun mid area.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's perfect right there.
Totally fair.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all talk about Trevor Lawrence. I gotta pee really quick.
Hold on, before you leave, Garrett, scroll up. Where's Lamar Jackson? I didn't get to go this one.
We put him in.
God, cautiously.
So
Okay.
yeah, with Lamar Jackson, Garrett told the story about you guys, your story outside the club. You guys went into his car and you actually spoke meth before.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that with
Okay.
Lamar.
Yeah,
Oh
but
shit! I didn't expect it from him. That was the crazy part.
yeah, so like and then we kind of decide it's like, yeah, well, that might not be the best thing to do before the biggest game of your career. Imagine imagine the confidence you have to partake in that illicit drug just hours before the biggest game of your life. That takes balls.
Oh, it does. That's kind of where I was at. Like in the moment, it was a very much like one of those situations of like, what the fuck are we doing, Lamar? You got the Super Bowl coming up. Why are we doing this? But even though they lost, I was like, man, it's kind of impressive. Like nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, we got T-Law, fucking Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they're paying him money. I'm gonna have some bias because we share a name, and I think most Trevors
Look
are
at the
just.
fucking neck, dog. Why is his
I mean,
neck like?
he has that giraffe neck.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're thinking about it, bringing Trevor Lawrence, like your daughter brings home Trevor Lawrence. What are you doing in that situation? I mean, it's just a family dinner. You're cooking up something. Your daughter tells you, "Hey, I'm bringing home my boyfriend Trevor,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to meet him." It's like first impressions are a lot. First of all, he's 6'4". That's a huge man. He's taller than me, so I'm gonna be
No.
intimidated out the gate. But I mean, I'm just hoping his character carries him through the entirety of that night.
Oh yeah. No, I mean if there's anything Trevor's got going for him, it is his character. Um, he's one of the most highly touted prospects at the quarterback position that we've ever seen. Um, as far as his performance and as far as who he who he is as a leader, it's very up and down though. It's very unpredictable.
You know,
So true.
with T-Law, he's like a modern day uh fucking Philip. What's his name? The guy who led the San Diego Chargers.
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers. He's a modern day Philip Rivers. This is not a guy who's getting in to the dirty of the game. He's going to play his game how he thinks he has to play it. And if we're translating this into a future husband for my daughter or a current boyfriend, it's like you can't help but respect the guy for it. It's like he's someone who knows what he wants and he's gonna do it casually. If he's dating my daughter, it's like, hey, I'm dating this girl, she's beautiful. But at the end of the day, it's just another thing for me.
So you want that?
I mean, yeah. With Trevor Lawrence, again, I'm biased, but
I agree. So where do you think we go? Probably above supervised monitor date. Maybe dinner with the parents.
yeah, I already like what I see, but let's have some dinner with the parents.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Tua.
Oh, it's you.
With the recent news, this is going to be a tough one.
This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not looking to get Chris Benoit. I mean,
I'm not looking for an OJ situation. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, concussion number 5 in his career, or number 4
that we know of.
Yeah,
that we know of. There's got to be some locker room slams in there.
No.
This is a guy that you look at you look at his career, the history of his career, and you have to think to yourself, is my own safety in jeopardy?
I don't want to near my dog. I think we got to say it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I'm sorry, Tua, but this is a really rough decision, but I think I'm going to put him down on restraining order just solely based on OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Tua seems like a good guy, but I mean with everything going on, this is someone you want to watch out for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who do we have last here?
This is Will Levis. This is one I've been waiting on.
The title Will Levis. Yeah. Yeah, Trevor, you've been.
I know you've been chomping at the bit for this.
Yeah, Will. I've had a couple interactions with Will. I did that solo podcast in Haiti with him on his charity event. Will Levis. I mean, of course, give credit. Like I always say, give credit where credit's due. Will was doing that charity event in Haiti. I happened to be in the South Caribbean at that time. I decided to meet up with Will, and it wasn't a great interview. I mean, we didn't post it to the channel. It was nothing
I
against
remember you
Will
saying
Levis. Yeah, because when I flew back into Cali, we had that party with Jake Paul and them. I flew back into Cali, and I was telling you, I was talking to Will Levis, and he didn't strike me as the type of guy to really be the one. I was impressed what he was doing at Tennessee, and I just remember a lot of what his character was. He was very standoffish. He was very how would you say it? It felt like he didn't want to be there, but he was there, so he accepted it. It was a weird vibe. I mean, nothing against Will
Yeah, I mean, you guys are
as
in
a person. Yeah, no, it was a huge charity event. I mean, he put $10 million out of his own pocket, which I just can't help but respect. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the entirety of his contract. He put all 10 mil into a charity event. And I was so impressed by it, but at the same time it's like, are you doing this for the show? Are you doing this to like reel people in, Will? Like I just feel like I didn't get to know the guy on who he was. I mean, y'all may have differing opinions, but that's what I got.
I know for a fact the man puts, and this has been, honest to God, this has been widely reported. He puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Oh my lord!
I mean, that's
Guys,
unacceptable.
You can Google this. You can Google this. It exists. The man loves mayonnaise, and he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
I love mayo, but not to the point of putting it in my coffee.
Oh my god! It's a recommended search.
Shut the fuck up. There's no way.
I don't make up my stories, man.
When he was seen putting mayonnaise in his coffee instead of usual accompaniments, such as cream or sugar.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. That's almost a restraining order type activity.
Yeah, this is. This has changed.
Aside from donating your entire quarterback salary to Haitians,
especially with the news we've learned recently.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's huge.
That's
another thing about it. I don't think I've ever seen a dog or a cat at Will Levis' house.
Wow.
Might have been on your plate. I'm sorry to say it, guys. That's really scary.
I mean, that's just one of those things that you can't look past. I love a cup of Joe, but putting mayonnaise in it.
I don't love a cup of Joe. My cat Joe. So
yeah.
But
I mean, This is a pretty solid list. Do
agree
y'all
with
have
that.
any changes you want to make?
Yeah, let's just take a look here. Honestly, I feel like this is really solid.
Yeah. This is.
You
this
know,
is
again, the
as
only one,
tight as it gets.
the only one I might have troubles with is Brock Purdy. Again, he's not really impressing me on the field. So like, if you can't, your job is to be an NFL quarterback. So if you can't impress me on the
He's
field,
ranked
what are you
pretty
gonna do
low.
off?
He's ranked already pretty low. Do you want him lower?
I mean, Brock Purdy might be in the Gardner Minshew category for me.
Really?
No way. I think Brock Purdy needs to be. I'll say this about Purdy. Maybe he needs to be lower on the monitored list because, to Trevor's point, he does get carried by his teammates quite a bit.
That does seem fair.
Yeah. So I don't think maybe that he needs to be that high up on the monitored list. But I think that's fair right there.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's-
on this training order for sure. Get these
Okay.
motherfuckers out of my sight. Who we calling son? Who are the top ones?
Daniel Jones and Geno Smith.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Aaron is gatekeeping that for sure. I think Aaron, we have an argument to put up there, but I mean he's a little too controversial, a little too in the news.
Yep. No, this is flawless. This is art.
And yeah, that's our list for quarterbacks dating our daughters, guys. But we're gonna be doing some more tier list in weeks to come, and I gotta admit we're not gonna hold back, and this is not one of those shows that you're gonna watch and see your favorite player just get to the top of the list, because we're gonna be ruthless, guys. I mean, one of my favorite. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and Dak Prescott's ranked extremely low here, and I agreed. Just because you got to get past that ego, man. You've got to get past that
100%.
bias.
We're diving into some real questions here about these guys. You know, put the on-field performance aside. You know, you got to look at these guys as a whole. You know, they're human just like us.
Yeah, and we all make mistakes, but it's. I feel like this is really solid, but appreciate all you guys joining, and we're gonna be back. I'm honestly feeling really bummed at the end of this, just because seeing so many legends just be, we dove deep into each of these, and just reminiscing on those memories that I have had with some of these guys. Just it's rough.
It's tough, man. Like I said, it's nothing against these guys. A lot of the people on the lower side of this tier list we're close with, we're good friends with. I mean, we've pretty much interviewed essentially every starting quarterback in the NFL right now, barring a couple of names. But we like these guys. It's nothing against them. It's the honest truth, and we're always going to bring that.
Yeah, and it's our daughters.
Of course. I mean, we're bringing family in this.
Yep.
But thank you guys for joining. We'll be back at it again here in a week or two, but keep on ripping, guys. Let's fucking ride. Broncos
And
Nation, let's ride.
As always, fuck Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Brock, any closing statements here?
No, that's all I got. I appreciate being here. Look forward to the next one.
Oh, yeah. All right, week 3 coming at you.